What's up, guys? Jason here from Spaacis, and today I'm here with Sherman.
Say no more, say no more. Not too much flashing.
How you doing today,
Say no
Sherman?
more. Yeah, I'm not too bad, man. I'm not too bad.
Yeah.
We here.
Good. Thanks for agreeing to do this with me today. How's it in France?
It's a bit crazy. I mean, the weather. I mean, I think probably the same thing happened in the UK. We have rain,
Mm.
snow. I mean, today is a
Mm.
beautiful day. But we're gonna
Oh,
try
nice.
to put the barbecue on.
Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself then?
Music producer. That's my Instagram say. I'm a joker. I like to have a fun. Either in real life, in studio, play keys, bass, guitar, and then yeah, I've been in this game for more than 15 years. Worked with quite a few artists, stateside, EU,
Mm.
and obviously in the UK. I mean, you probably have some of the names off the top of my head. Can't remember all. But music label like Def Jam, Universal, Warner. So the list goes on.
Mm. Yeah. Well, okay, so I'm kind of doing this backwards. It's my first time actually doing this sort of thing, so forgive me, everyone. But yeah, Sherman's nickname is Lastarz, and he's a founding member of Lastarz Production. To give you guys some context, Sherman actually grew up in Cameroon. He was born in the UK, but grew up in Cameroon and then came back to the UK. I can't remember how old you were, about 15, 16, would you say?
Yeah, probably about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he actually came to live back with my family. Yeah, and we had some great times, great times.
Yeah,
There was a
yeah,
bit of a language barrier at first.
we do the proper Queen's English. You know, when you arrive
Yeah.
and you discover that people in the UK, the English is completely. You have to learn the lingo. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, I remember when you guys went to Sherman and his brothers came over and they went to Wood Green. And they came back round to Nanny's house and they said, yeah, we had a great time in Greenwood. And we were all like, what? Greenwood? Yeah, we went to Greenwood. No, you mean Wood Green.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
but we had some fun times, man. I've got a list of some artists that you've worked with. So Sandflower, Dyson, Michelle Renee, Merkston, Black the Ripper, Jazzy. Is there anyone else you want to name drop?
uh, Jordan Thomas, Holly Barry, who else? Damn.
Too much.
That's basically UK side. Quite well
Mm,
with a lot of people. Uh, in the French side, Lamb,
mm,
Leonard Pasquier, Wagram, Station.
mm.
Uh, that's, yeah,
Yeah.
Mark Thompson, a great
Mm,
songwriter as well. I've done quite a lot of
mm,
things with him.
mm,
Who
mm,
had quite a few number ones in the K-pop world.
mm,
Who else? Damn. Majestic,
mm,
uh, great friend, great guy.
mm, mm,
John Dokra, who's also a DJ, who's also
mm,
the person who had broke a studio in Barnet.
mm, mm.
Rudimental was downstairs where we were. Who else? Man, there's so
Damn.
many people.
Rudimental. Man's just dropping names like they're nothing.
No. We stay humble. We stay humble. We're also great guys as well, the
Mm.
Fanatics. Um, so yeah.
How old were you when you got into music?
Whoa, probably about 18, 19 ish.
Mm.
Really got triggered by my little cousin Matthew when he brought home the first Fruity Loops, and then obviously we got
Mm,
really interested in getting in there and trying to put things together. And
mm,
us being musicians, played in the church, so just felt, wow. I mean, if a kid can put two blocks together and make a drum beat, come on, we can do that as
mm,
well. So myself and Andrew, who's now the person heading up Visions TV,
mm,
also the manager of Jazzy from the Jazzy Show.
mm.
We decided to get in there. So yeah, ever
Yeah.
since, never stopped. Started Cubase, through loops, and then a bit of Logic, and then
Mm,
obviously back to Cubase, and stayed with Cubase ever since.
yeah. I mean, I remember when you guys first started messing about and tinkering with Fruity Loops, and I was just seeing these bananas, apples, and stuff on the screen, and I was like, "What is this kids program?" You know. But you
Yeah.
guys actually made some beats out of them, and they were
Yeah.
actually pretty well put together. So,
Exactly,
you know.
exactly. That was the most interesting about Fruity Loops. Um, Obviously, more and more we were growing. I mean,
Mm,
everywhere. I think the only reason why we left Fruity Loops, it was because we wanted more sounds, and Fruity Loop was, obviously, it was a program, was growing, and it didn't have a lot of capability. Some of the plugins they were using back then were not that strong, and some of
mm,
the
mm,
quality weren't that great.
mm,
So us being musician, we had modules, we had other stuff, so we wanted something who can really hold our creative ideas and creative juice into one place. We did some rewiring at the beginning where we did drums into Fruity Loops, and then obviously later on cross
mm.
patch with Cubase, and then later on down the line we just kind of stuck with Cubase all the way.
So, did you guys ever use Reason?
No, 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 no. I mean, I had quite a few people I did work with who were using Reason, and they tried to make me see reason to join them. So, but yeah, no, I never really. We just stuck with Cubase.
You didn't think Reason was reasonable.
No, it wasn't reasonable. I mean, it just looked. I mean, if you had a very good understanding of how to do patching and making things
Yeah,
work,
yeah,
and yeah, I think it's great. Um,
yeah.
but I got tried to pull and folks to use Ableton as well. There again, wasn't I didn't go for it. But I think the two
Mm,
things will look a bit similar is the Studio One for Prisoners, and then obviously Cubase.
mm,
Um, yeah, so those two definitely I will work with. I do work with Pro Tools as well. So
yeah,
unfortunately, when I started going into big studio, that's why they were using Pro Tools.
yeah,
Um, quite not too easy, but it's quite you can get away with it, and you can do
yeah,
some great things. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
learn quickly. A little bit limited in terms of beat making and editing and stuff like that.
Well, Pro Tools,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and but definitely in terms of making beats and stuff like that. Cubase, Logic, yeah, they're really good, and Cubase very good
Yeah,
for scoring as well.
yeah, yeah. A guy who I follow, Daniel James. He's a composer. He actually started on Ableton, and then
Mhm.
he's transitioned over to Cubase. And I think he prefers Cubase now. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's testament as well to the power of Cubase, and it's a long-standing for DAW.
Exactly,
And
exactly,
I remember I started off on Cubase and then moved on to Logic because everyone was telling me Logic.
exactly,
When I
exactly.
first started on Logic, I was like, this isn't logical.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Literally, literally, yeah. It's the same thing. But I can use Logic a bit. I mean, I have a lot. That's the joy of working from home. When you
Yeah.
have when you hear that sound, you feel alive.
Yeah. Yeah. What instruments do you favor or do you play?
I would say guitar because that's probably one of the instrument guitar, a little bit of bass. I can just mess around, but I need to practice a little bit more.
Mm,
But yes, guitar and then piano.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like they said, I play at it. I play at it.
Hmm.
Stick in my one key, the D flat, C sharp, stay in there and then just transpose. Sorry guys about all you guys are playing every keys, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Learn a couple
I
keys.
haven't. No, I think what that was one of my mission to actually start playing in different keys and whatever. I was
Yeah.
lucky that in the church I was playing it, they had an electric piano,
Mm,
grand piano, so I could transpose. Then I learned how to play very well. But
mm.
yeah, it is a learning process. I will. That's part of my retirement plan to learn how to
Yeah.
play in every keys.
Who was your inspirations? Who actually inspired you to get into music production?
Music production, that I would say, definitely my little cousin, Matthew, uh, when he was part of the Flame On crew. Yeah, yeah,
Sparky.
Flame On, yeah, Flame On. That was the time where when grime was just coming about, but yeah, once he started doing his bits and pieces, he was really, really captivating. I always wanted, I was never satisfied with only being a musician. I always wanted to play, to be recognized and put some stuff out there, in terms of
Mm,
production and stuff like that. I always used to say that it doesn't matter. People, I mean, that's one thing which actually generated all this spaces idea is that
mm.
musicians are never recognized
Yeah.
in what they do. They play
Mm,
things, we put records together, but either you play session or you compose. If you don't compose, you will just go and stay in the background and never be talked about and whatever. I mean, if you don't read, I think just probably recently that you can see the credit of in terms of musician who were part of a record, but before that
yeah.
we didn't see that. We didn't
Yeah.
see that. So Spaces is part of the concept to put all the people behind who were behind closed door to to be uh, to be put at the forefront because they're the one who make all these great tunes happen, and is good. And this platform is there to showcase and put them forward.
Yeah. And yeah, as Sherman said, that was the main premise of the idea because we spoke. We've been talking. I was telling a friend the other day. Me and Sherman have been talking for a number of years about music industry, um, and what is it that we can do? What can we bring? To the music industry that will make a difference and make a change and have a great impact for generations to come. And so, yeah, last year during the lockdown, this is where the idea was birthed, just from us talking. I remember I was saying to somebody, we were watching a good friend of ours, Nasty Josh,
Yes, Josh.
doing a show, and we were just saying like, as Sherman said, artists or the lead singer or a group of singers, they get the notoriety, whereas musicians, they'll come and go. The main artists will chop and change their musicians, chop and
Exactly.
change their producers.
Exactly.
And so for the audience, they don't get to know the backstory of the musicians or the producers, even the sound engineers,
Exactly.
the dance crew, everyone that puts in effort to make the artist look good. you know,
Exactly. Exactly.
and so that's why, yeah, we just saw a gap there, and so we just thought, well, let's go for it. Let's go for it, and see what happens. See what happens. But we're praying that this platform will then give other musicians, other people a voice, and give them the
Exactly.
notoriety that they deserve. Because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have these banging tracks that we love to enjoy,
Exactly.
in our spare times. So yeah, thanks Sherman for touching on that. I've got another question for you, because you mentioned
Mhm.
that you play guitar, you play keys and whatnot, and you're also a producer. What do you prefer? Do you prefer playing live, or do you prefer doing production and recorded stuff?
I mean, production is better in a sense that it gives you opportunity to do things, tweak things, re-record, um, and then live don't forgive. Obviously, if you do mistakes on a live
Mm.
session, there's no way you can record that. But it also teaches you a lot of discipline,
Mm.
and it actually calls that you have to do a lot of practice.
Mm.
So definitely studio is more forgiving, and live is not.
Yeah.
Live is not.
So, you came over from Cameroon to the UK, as we touched on earlier, about 15, 16.
Yeah.
What were the main differences between the music industries, or the music industries that you noticed, being a young person, between Cameroon and the UK?
I would say that the difference in recording in terms of sound is, I think, is basically the sound. Obviously,
Mm.
we have a lot of different music influence, especially in Cameroon.
Mm.
Um, so we have, being at the center of Africa, we have a mix of everything, north, west, everything just comes into 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 the country. So we have
Mm.
a kind of a big fusion of different
Mm.
music, jazz, rumba, um, then merengue,
Mm.
which obviously in Cameroon they call it makossa, but it's actually merengue. So we have that fusion. So when I came into the UK, obviously you have different sound. You have different sound. Obviously,
Mm.
a lot of it being influenced by American sound as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I grew up having that fusion of culture, understanding and listening also to not only to the local
Mm.
music but also the music outside. My mom made sure of it, and so I listen to a lot of 60s, 70s music, um, and then obviously
Mm.
when the new Jack and all the new genre, the hip hop and everything started, so I was
Yeah.
part of that growth. So when I came to the UK, so I was saying the other side. I wasn't like what is happening in terms of music or whatever, because
Mm.
Africa is very connected in terms of what is actually happening outside the world musically. But obviously, they will put
Mm.
forward more their own sound, which the local sound. That's in makossa and merengue and rumba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a moment here to showcase one of your tunes, called "You and I." Did you want to give some context about this one?
Basically, myself and Andrew, we decided that we wanted to showcase some of the stuff that we have. We had lots of music and whatever. So I remember I was watching TV one evening, and Andrew sent me the beat. And there's something about me, if the beat is right, I mean,
Mm,
lyrics flow, lyrics flow, and I get ideas. And
mm,
I think I
mm, mm,
wrote that song probably in about 10 minutes. You
mm,
know,
mm.
I wrote it in 10 minutes, and I done the. I went in the studio, done a demo, and I
Mm.
sent it to Andrew. Andrew loved it, and he said to me, "Listen, I'm singing it." I said, "What? Are you serious?" He said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm singing it." I said, "Okay, go for it, man. Go for it." So
Mm.
he jumped on it, and got I meant prophecy on the rap part, and the rest was history.
Okay, so I won't play the whole thing. I'll play a snippet for our viewers to get a taste
Hmm.
and feel of it. And if you want to listen to the whole thing, you can go to the Lastarz production YouTube page.
Yeah,
I believe it's up there, and they'll be able
yeah,
to listen to the whole tune. But
yeah.
here we go, you and I.
Don't you know, baby, I'm feeling your style. And don't you know, baby, I'm digging your smile. So tonight I'm gonna make you feel so good, so good. Tonight, baby, it's just you and I tonight. You tonight, baby. It's you and I, and it's alright. No need to fight, 'cause it's alright. Let the music play and take control. Take control, baby. It's you and I, and it's alright. It's you and I, and it's alright. It's you and I, baby. You and I. You and
Yeah, that actually sounds sweet.
I remember the poem from Fruin Publishing in America. When they heard it, it was gas. It was like,
Yeah.
wow. Work with the likes of G Unit, E40, and
Mm, mm,
and
mm.
the Animal. We got Aaron Ozo from Transonic. So yeah,
Let's get back to the discussion of music. So, what are your thoughts of the UK music scene currently?
I think it's healthy. I think it's really, really
Mm,
healthy. I think it's forever growing. A bit of similar sound in terms of the production. Um, I would
mm,
have probably wanted a little bit more versatility, but it is what it is. Once
mm.
something works, then something about the UK. When something we're a little pun, when something if something works, it gets rinsed.
Yeah,
You get rinsed until there's no more. I mean, I remember when Funky House came out and Garage and whatever. We rinsed it, we rinsed it, and then
yeah,
it
yeah.
kind of
Sweet
goes
like
away.
chocolate.
Now we have, yeah, exactly.
Head,
Now we have
shoulders, knees, and
grime.
toes.
The sweet like chocolate boy. All
Mm,
them things, everything gets rings, everything gets just rings. Until somebody brings a new sound. Um,
mm.
is I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, it's healthy. Everybody's jumping in. We have new talent. We have people who are moving across the pond doing other stuff. So yeah,
Mm,
so
mm.
it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable to see, and yeah, especially
Yeah,
the UK culture embracing even more Caribbean sound and a little bit more tropical sound and Afrobeat.
yeah.
So yeah,
Mm.
it's a great time for UK music.
Yeah. So, are you working on anything interesting at the moment?
Yes, I'm working on an EP. I just want to release some bits and pieces I have out. We had talks with other producers and our stuff. I think sometimes it's good. It's good to put things out. You never know. With the digital world and how things go at the moment, you never know what's gonna happen. So I think it's time to put things out and just not leave it there. I just want to finish projects. I had lots of project unfinished stuff. So yeah, I'm doing a EP. It's gonna be an EDM EP. So it's gonna be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Can you tell us what you're currently listening to?
What I'm listening to, I'm listening to
Yeah.
a lot of Afrobeat. A lot of Afrobeat. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I mean, I do travel a lot. I do work. I'm always on the road. So all the new stuff were on the radio, the Ed Sheeran, or some of the EDM songs like David Guetta and whatever. Then yes, I will listen to it. But I would say 90% is always Afrobeat.
And who were your influences?
In music in general, or
Yeah, music in general.
music in general, I would say for guitar would be your dad, my uncle. Told me a lot of things playing, and I told myself I had to be confident in the band or something like that. Influence wise, I would say David Guetta, the likes of Zedd, a bit of Tiesto, yeah, yeah, Timberland as well for his drum beats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know what
Timberland.
you know what Timbo beat gets me all the time? The 1 in a million beat.
Yeah.
That's
You know
cold.
when myself and Andrew we started, we used to spend a lot of time on the drums, a lot of
Mm,
time because
mm,
being Cubase, no free loops, I mean making a beat were and a
mm,
drum beat was limitless. The ideas you can do,
mm.
so we used to spend a lot of time, and I think I do kind of miss it because we don't tend to spend a lot of time on a drum like we used to,
Mm.
Um, but recently we sat down, we listened to stuff we're doing back and listen to stuff we're doing now. We're taking a little bit of time to actually go back to spending a little bit more time on the drums and the rhythm section.
So maybe give us some context, like when you come to producing a tune or a track, or a song, you know, take us through your process. Is it the melody that you start with, or is it the drums that you start with, or do you do the melody first, put the drums afterwards, and develop the drums that way? Can you
Yeah, I
take us
mean,
through it?
yeah. Before I used to do drums first. I used to do drum first. Um, but now it's completely. I mean, it's always an evolving process. I do more melody,
Mm,
off melody, or something who can go back and forth with the melody, and
mm,
then after that, I do lay the very basic drums,
mm,
then bass, then I'll add some more percussive instruments. So I mean, as a producer, when you start going up in terms
mm.
of knowing production and whatever, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
also knowing being spending time in the studio with mix engineers and whatever, you tend to I tend not to add too much. I used to be
Yeah.
in the process. I was just adding too much to make it sound full and whatever. And I used to go in the
Mm.
studio and we used to work with John Docker. Used to be the mix engineer. He used to be like, "What's that for?" And I was like, "It's just for feel." And he goes, "Nah, it doesn't need to be there. Remove it." And then
Yeah.
as we going through the mix, like, "What's that for?" And I was like, "Just no, remove it because it's gonna clash with
Yeah.
the vocals." And now I tend to do less,
Mm,
and then once I have the vocals and everything else, then I can add
mm.
more to fill it instead
Yeah.
of actually feeling it, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You add when it needs it,
Yeah.
at the end at the end process,
Mm.
instead of actually doing it right at the beginning.
All right. So I'm gonna showcase another track of yours, Afro the Sauce.
Aye.
Do you want to tell us about that one?
I mean, it's like I said, I've been listening a lot to Afro beats, so I tend to sit down and just put some Afrobeat together, and hopefully get to work with some Afrobeat artists soon. So yeah, it's just for fun, And yeah, I'm gonna be showcasing also a little EP soon called the Sauce, the Sauce. So yeah,
Real sauce.
exactly the Sauce, the Sauce.
All right.
Yeah.
So here we go, Afro the Sauce.
It's Lastarz, baby.
Yeah, you can hear the heavy Afrobeats influence in that. I've got some quick fire questions for you.
Okay.
Top 5 producers.
Timberland for his drums, Calvin Harris for his creative use of samples, and also his lyrics. I really like his way of doing songwritings, and he has a very interesting texture in terms of his vocal. He doesn't give a damn. He just goes in for it. So God did a lot inspiring while into what I'm trying to do. Yeah, Tiesto, Zedd for his unconventional way of producing. He was probably one of the first producers who used to throw major sevenths and elevenths and augmented chords in his house production, which are basically always major and minors,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it was quite interesting the way he took to production.
We can't forget our boys though, the Fantatix.
Yeah, I cannot forget the Fanatics. Cannot forget the Fanatics, man. Shout out to Fanatics, shout out to Draw, C Dot, So yeah, they're doing great stuff. Doing great stuff. So yeah, hopefully we can get in the studio someday. When they have a 2 minutes spare. Now the big boys now, innit?
No, I was actually talking to Dro the other day, and I said, "Yeah, we need to hook up, mate." And he was like, "Yeah. When we're ready." And I was like, "Yeah." And then we can pull out the golden eye, and I can murk you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can bring his little up job and can deal with him, no problem.
Yeah. Classic odd job.
Exactly. But teeth.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Top 5 UK musicians.
Well, I mean the ones I know, Jerry Brown, Freddie Thompson, Nicky Brown, Luke Smith, Mark Smith on the guitar. Those are the ones I mean they were close to me, and obviously I saw. Mark Smith, who used to live not too far from us, and he used to come sometime at home and do programming on the GT3 on the bus and stuff like that. So yeah, so those are probably the musician. I know, and then obviously in our generation, you have the Sam Lynch.
Oh,
There's-
yeah, the Groove Master.
yeah, the group Sam
Yeah.
Lynch. You have obviously McNasty.
Josh.
You know, Josh, and then you have Joey on the bass,
Yeah.
Greg, Greg on the bass, and then obviously Colin, Alicia. The list goes on. There's too many.
Yeah, the list
Apologies
goes.
if
Yeah,
I
the list goes.
forgot anybody. Apologies. It's all love. I mean, the list is
It's
huge.
not personal.
It's not personal. It's really not personal. The list is huge.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Top 5 tunes.
Top 5 tune, Tupac, Gangster Party.
Ooh, that is a tune.
Yeah, I was saying
That
it.
is a tune.
Exactly.
If I remember, All Eyes on Me album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say
yeah.
Biggie, Sky's the Limit, 112.
Yes.
I will go for Bob Marley, say I Shot the Sheriff. But Exodus is one of the greatest. I'll probably put Exodus first before I Shot the Sheriff. Lauryn Hill, That Thing, Michael Jackson, I would say PYT. And then probably one more, if I go towards it.
So you're going to 6 now?
Yeah, just one more, because I have to hit also my. I mean, those are the tracks I will be rinsing. I no problem. Put it on repeat, no problem. I'll probably use a dance track, Zedd. I forgot the title of it. The first track actually on his album, Zedd. It's playing in my mind. I can't even remember the title.
No pressure.
But yeah,
no
but
pressure.
Zedd. Yeah. Zedd.
All right. So, what advice would you give to any young budding producers?
Patience. I mean, we live in a microwave situation and a generation who wants things instantly and they're ready to do anything and everything to actually gain fame and success quickly. I think patience, master your craft, and every person has a moment. Every person has a moment. One person is not really better than you are. Don't always look at yourself like, probably I'm not better than him or whatever. It's just that you didn't have the opportunity, or you didn't have the chance that the person had to have that connection to get to that thing. Network, be willing to work for free at the beginning to showcase your talent, and then be humble. Be humble. It's a small industry. You always want to be talked well in the industry, but also you don't want to be taken advantage of. So be always prepared, always get clued up, educate yourself, and always have a lawyer ready, lawyer up when the time comes. I'm telling you, I mean, there's so many people I've seen in this industry right up there, and now scratching the back of their head. They don't know what really happened. So you're ready to pay for a lawyer 500, 600, 900 pounds to read that thing properly. And trust me, some of the lawyers now they're lawyered up, they know what they're doing, but these contracts are getting really, really complicated. Even themselves, they need a little refresher. Even themselves, they're like, damn, I didn't know this thing existed. So just patience and educate yourself and polish your craft. And that's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sherman, I'd like to thank you for joining us today and
You're
taking
welcome.
part in this interview. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. And if there's any hints, tips that you want to share with us to make it better as we go, continue throughout this, then please let us know. And if there's anyone that you like us to feature, talk to, please give us a shout. And yeah, until next time, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye.